Hello viewers, welcome to AP's Undergraduate Examination Revision Pearls. Today we shall discuss the causes of diminished vision in pseudophakia. Pseudophakia is a case in the practical examination and many students fumble when asked why the vision in their patient might be diminished. So here is a brief discussion on this topic. Cataract surgery with IOL implantation after detailed IOL power calculation is done in order to provide an expected postoperative visual acuity of 6 by 6. However, sometimes this may not occur. We shall see what the possible causes can be. The various causes for diminished vision in pseudophakia are posterior capsular opacification or after cataract, astigmatism, cystoid macular edema, refractive errors other than astigmatism, bullous keratopathy, retinal detachment, and pre-existing pathology. PCO or after cataract is the most common complication of any type of extracapsular cataract extraction. How do you diagnose it? If it is fairly dense, then it may be visible as a whitish opacification in the pupillary area. However, if it is thin, then a slit lamp examination will help in the diagnosis. Here, a retro-illuminated slit lamp view is seen. Why does PCO occur? The epithelium that produces the lens fibers line the anterior capsule and the equator of the lens. In extracapsular surgery, most of the anterior capsule and cortex are removed. The peripheral parts of the anterior capsule and the entire posterior capsule are left behind. So, these remaining equatorial and anterior subcapsular epithelial cells proliferate to give rise to PCO. What are the types of PCO? They are Elschnick's pearls, Sommering's ring, thin diffuse PCO, and thick membranous PCO. Please note the spelling of Sommering's ring. A Sommering's ring occurs due to proliferation of the epithelial cells in the equatorial region of the lens, which, instead of forming lens fibers, develop into balloon-like cells. These are histologically nucleated bladder cells, which are then sealed off by the adhesion of the edges of the anterior capsule to the peripheral part of the posterior capsule. This is its appearance in cross-section. Seen from the anterior aspect, it looks like a donut. These same nucleated bladder cells may migrate across the posterior capsule and may be present either in localized groups or may fill up the entire pupillary area and are referred to as Elschnick's pearls. Many people get confused about the spelling of Elschnick's pearls. In ophthalmology, most of the terms that have a sh sound are spelled with an SCH. Elschnick's pearls, Flescher's ring, Kayser-Fleischer ring, Schlemm's canal, Schwalbe's line. So this will help you to remember easily. Migration of the anterior subcapsular epithelial cells along the posterior capsule results in posterior capsular opacification. And if there is fibrous metaplasia along with collagen deposition, then thick opaque secondary membranes form. Dense membranes form more commonly when there is severe intraocular inflammation and in children. What are the factors that increase the severity and rate of PCO? Intraocular inflammation in children, as mentioned before, incomplete cortical removal, and certain lens materials and designs tend to favor more of after cataract formation. Hydrophilic acrylic intraocular lenses with square edge optics tend to lower the rate of PCO formation. The patient complains of slowly progressive painless diminution of vision following a period of good vision after cataract surgery. Coming to treatment, a thin diffuse PCO and Elschnick's pearls in the pupillary area are treated with Nd:YAG laser capsulotomy. Thick membranes have to be removed with a vitreous cutter, and Sommering's ring doesn't require treatment as it does not involve the visual axis and so doesn't interfere with vision. Next is surgically induced astigmatism. The larger the incision, the greater is the degree of astigmatism. Hence, the greatest degree of astigmatism occurs in conventional ECCE, it is less in SICS and least in phacoemulsification. If suspected, a pinhole test will tell you that there is a refractive error if vision improves, but not the type of refractive error. Confirmation of the type of refractive error is done by retinoscopy, which is defined as the objective determination of the refractive state of the eye. Astigmatism is affected by cylindrical lenses. The next is cystoid macular edema. Cystoid macular edema occurring after cataract surgery is also known as Irwin-Gass syndrome. There is increased perifoveal capillary permeability with fluid accumulation in cystoid spaces in the macula. It gives a honeycomb appearance on fundus examination and a flower petal appearance on fundus fluorescent angiography. Nowadays, OCT is being increasingly used for the diagnosis of cystoid macular edema. It is treated by topical NSAIDs or steroids or both, and prophylaxis is by topical NSAIDs after cataract surgery. Next is myopia and hypermetropia, which may also occur in pseudophakia and could either be due to wrong power IOL or an IOL malposition, such as a forward or backward displacement. Similar to astigmatism, pinhole test and retinoscopy are done. In bullous keratopathy, the patient presents with pain and diminished vision, and on examination there is corneal haze and epithelial bullae. You can click on the link above to know more details about bullous keratopathy in my video on complications of anterior chamber IOLs. I have also left a link in the description box. A patient with retinal detachment will give a history of sudden, painless diminution of vision. It can be diagnosed by fundus examination. Pre-existing pathology like diabetic retinopathy, primary open-angle glaucoma, age-related macular degeneration, etc. may also be responsible for diminished vision. How do you determine which of these your patient might be having? You would have checked the visual acuity without and then with pinhole as a part of your examination. If there was an improvement, then the patient has a refractive error. Now ask yourself this question. Did the diminished vision start immediately after surgery, or was the vision good for some time after which it reduced? If the vision was bad immediately after surgery, then a wrong power IOL may have been implanted. And if the diminished vision occurred later, then more likely surgical induced astigmatism is the cause. If there is no pinhole improvement, then one of the other causes is at play. If your examination shows a clear cornea, then obviously bullous keratopathy is out. Then you are left with one of the others. Slit lamp examination will reveal a PCO if it is there, and if not, fundus examination is required to diagnose one of the others. If you like what you saw, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to never miss an update from AP's Ophthalmology Pulse. Look forward to regular updates. Thank you for watching.